welcome back to Cat's Writing and Reading Nook. So I do have a sinus infection, so if I sound weird, that would be why. I'm getting better, I'll be fine, but just heads up. So today we're going to be looking at The Country Without Humans. Let me give you all a better look, because the cover art is absolutely gorgeous. So we have our protagonist here. Her name is She, and this is Bulb, the golem, there we go, who becomes her protector. And then there are a bunch of other golems on the back. And you may be wondering, what's the deal with the golems? Glad you asked. So this story takes place in a city where the humans have all disappeared, and we don't know why. So our protagonist, She, spelled S-H-I-I, comes into the story running from these golems that she calls the triangle heads. And she has no idea who she is, where all the other humans went, why she's where she is, none of it. She just knows that she has to get away from the triangle heads. And she ends up getting on a train where she is rescued by Bulb. And this starts their adventure together, trying to figure out what happened to the other humans, and Bulb trying to keep her alive in the day-to-day. And I loved the world building. There's actually things on the back talking about, well, the front and the back, talking about the different types of golems that you meet throughout the story. And the artwork is just gorgeous. So you have the cover, but then the actual graphic novel on the inside, also amazing. And I think some of my favorite things about this is the found family aspect between Bulb, She, and there's another little golem who looks kind of like a flying GoPro. I don't actually know how to pronounce that one's name, but he's very much the voice of wisdom, explains things to She, because Bulb doesn't talk really a lot. So it's up to the other guy to explain. But I really loved the tension throughout the story, because they have to keep away from the triangle heads, and there's a huge cast of characters that are just gorgeous. And most of them obviously are golems, with the exception of She. No, that's a spoiler. But anyway, the story ends on a very interesting cliffhanger, and it brings up a number of questions that is a perfect setup for volume 2. I actually have that one. But I really enjoyed all of those aspects. I think that, so it's rated for teens and up. You could read this to a younger child, or a younger child could read it. I don't know if there's too much in here that would raise concern, but I do read fairy tales, so that could change some perspectives here. But I would highly recommend, especially if you enjoy found family. This is a sci-fi, in case you hadn't noticed. So if you want a quicker read and one that's got some very great action scenes, there's a lot of them just being in the city and looking around and eating and figuring out accommodations, and so there's kind of a very nice blend of fast pace and slow pace. But I would highly recommend for just about anybody, Country Without Humans by Iwatobe Neko. This is actually one that I just randomly picked up at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, you know what, let's try it. It's got like a nice little found family aspect, a very good mystery, I think, because what in the world happened to all the rest of the humans? Honestly, it reminds me of an anime that I watched, and I'm really not sure if it's based on this, but anyway. So that is it for The Country Without Humans. We will be looking at volume 2, probably in a reading vlog at some point later down the line. So I am going to do everything in my power to have a writing vlog out for y'all on Monday. I'm going to try to film that before things get really crazy this weekend, because my family is doing a lot of stuff. So one thing that I will for sure be able to do is a blog post for my blog. Some of you have seen what I've had to say over there, and you might have noticed that it really has been acting as more of a landing page for this channel, and I'm trying really hard to change that. So I made a blog post about how I got into writing fantasy, and it's called Doomed from the Beginning. Because, I mean, if you look back at the movies and TV shows that I watched and the books that I read and all of that, a lot of fantasy. So that is up for y'all if y'all are interested. I have a poll going for this next week's blog post. You can either hear me explain the ridiculousness of the snobbery surrounding fanfiction, because I'm a little bit of a spoiler, we actually teach fanfiction in schools. Like, those are some of our texts that we read in schools. Some of you know exactly what I mean by that. Others, this is gonna be something new. Or I can talk about writing dark topics in fiction. That one is going to have a more biblical worldview bent to it, because the way that I handle dark topics is going to be through the lens of the Bible, through the lens of good, right, true, and lovely. How do you do that though when you've got things like human trafficking and war and revenge plots and all of that? How do you do that well in a way that is believable? So there is a poll both on this channel and on my Instagram, which I'm going to link in this video, the description of this video. Very important. But I am going to announce our Friday reading in Monday's video, and I will see y'all hopefully on Monday, if not Monday, on Friday. Have a great weekend and keep an eye out for the eclipse. This is gonna be really cool, guys. Happy